Hello, hello. Welcome back to Retrieving Sanity with your host, Keegan. Today, I just wanted to touch on a little something I'd observed at the Minute Nehemiah, and it's very human and not something I thought about. And that is the behavior of comparison. And we all compare, right? We look at Facebook posts and say, that person is doing well. Why can't I have that? Well, you're just seeing the highlights, right? No one wants to put in the bloopers. No one really wants to show the shit that they go through to get to the highlight. So why compare pain, especially? Like, it was interesting because you'd have, say, an alcoholic go to someone else that did literally anything, and they'd have a air of superiority, if you will. Like somehow they were better. But what was interesting is that through this comparison, you also had people justifying or trying to make it seem like they needed the program a lot more than someone else. But at the same time, they would sit there and say, I didn't have it that bad, but we're still in rehab, right? So why compare? And that is a human behavior, but why would an addict, or why compare shit to shit? Shit to shit, right? So, I mean, somehow, I think it was to make someone feel better about themselves, while at the same time putting down others, like humans do. And those humans are dicks. So don't be that human, okay? Well, let's also touch back on it didn't get that bad. And that's a big one. I heard that so many times, still do. And it's just interesting because if it didn't get that bad, why was it court ordered? Or why are you here? Because the men of Nehemiah is not the bridge. It is not homeward bound. And it's definitely not a 9-month vacation. I can tell you that, and I never want to go through it again. I want to help, but on the other side of the fence, if you will. And yeah, it's humbling, but you gotta really want it. And it was kind of heartbreaking to see some of the guys that had been through before, if not just once, but twice, maybe 3 or 4 times. And I mean, I gotta say, they may not be the lucky ones, now that I think about it, because the lucky one doesn't have to. And I'm saying this in a very morbid way, but the one that doesn't have to go back is probably dead. And some people would consider that lucky. And I don't know. To each their own. But yeah. If you go through a program like that and you fall back to your old ways, you fall back to what you know, and you're able to get back to get help, that's good. That's good. But just make it back alive. It doesn't have to be like one whole piece, but just make it back alive. And that's why maybe some people are lucky, because they don't have to. Again, their suffering is over. And I know for a few of us, myself, I guess, is that I had wanted to be dead for some reason. And it just never happened. No matter how many times I tried to do it, one way or another, make it look like an accident, or just drink until, well, don't wake up. None of those ever even happened. But yeah, it's, for some of us, we are running from mostly ourselves, and that's a problem. Is that anywhere I go, I'm still there. I am the common denominator. I am the common factor. And it sucks, because a lot of people don't get the chance to come out on the other side. Like, a lot of people don't have to suffer in their own anguish to the point to where death is actually an escape. And some people do. And then at the same time, we kind of brought it on ourselves. And yet, there are those that are poor and unfortunate, and they never had a choice. They never had that same chance. And my heart goes out to those, because once you realize that it was my choice to kind of fall into addiction, and how much I hated it, for someone to suffer in that same way, but they did not have that chance to say no, man, that's rough. And yeah, so there are those that are unfortunate, and some just never get the chance. And that's what really sucks, because this whole stigma about mental health, addiction, incarceration, everything like that, anything that makes you seem like a bad apple, a bad seed, whatever. It's so propagated that you can't. You can't escape it. And it's just been ingrained into society so much so that everyone just takes it as fact. Whenever really we're just human with another label: addict, criminal, crazy, stupid. Okay, well, stupid is like not so much a label. Sometimes it's a choice, but what's that song? If you're going to be dumb, gotta be tough. Yeah, well, there's a lot of tough bastards out there, and, well, or at least persistent. I'll say that. We are persistent, but very stubborn. But to anyone that is trying to understand addiction, just know that really no one really wants to be there. It may have kind of started as a choice, but the choice wasn't to become addicted. Our choice was saying, this hurts less than where I'm at. And what sucks is that we end up hurting more from that, but that's all we know. And what do you do whenever you run? You're still there. Like, you're not behind you, you're not in front of you, you're not even like standing next to you. You are you, where you are. You don't really have something that can pull us out and away from ourselves, but really, it's all we want is to be free from ourselves. I know I forgot all about this until just now. In high school, I had a few people tell me, especially one really close friend, and one day she just looked at me, got this look, and she was like, that's kind of weird. I was like, well, what? Like, yeah, I am, but she said, no, I get the feeling that you'd be a lot more comfortable outside of your skin, like outside of yourself. And I never really thought about it, but I guess that's what I was trying to do with all my drinking and escaping, and essentially, I guess, trying to skin myself. And, well, I don't think anyone's done that and or lived, but I could be wrong. But if it's possible, I definitely do not want to try it. But again, back to the Minna and Maya comparison. You gotta remember, addicts hurt, and to beat up on yourself, to beat up and put others down, especially being in the same kind of fight, you're not helping anything. You're not even helping you. Hell, step 12 is all about helping someone else. Step 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 are about really helping, essentially. That's kind of the cornerstone of AA or any A program, is you help and you keep what you got by giving it away. And I think that's what can make it hard for some people, because especially here in America, we were born, we're taught to take. We're taught you have to fend for yourself. And while that's true, it's also completely asinine, because I know a lot of the best times I've actually had, especially before addiction and a little bit in it, and now after, is helping others through community service or working at the food pantry, just anything like that. Helping other people helped me, but it was always in a way I did not really expect it to, and I think that's why it's hard for some people to get out of the addiction, because we're taught to be selfish. We're taught to ignore. And I know we're maybe not weird as a collective, but there's some of us out there, and by some of us, I mean humans, that are trying. And that's what we gotta be here for, is to help the next person. And I don't have to understand them. I don't have to completely get their life story. I don't have to get anything out of it. I just want to help. And it's kind of weird, because a lot of the quote unquote addicts that I know, they're actually the most kind-hearted, deep feelers, and actually very intelligent. And I'm just going to leave that right there, because that's a few episodes all by itself. But for now, until next time, I hope y'all have a great rest of the day, night, lunch, breakfast, dinner, whatever third dinner is for a hobbit. Have a good one.